Constant ecstatic bliss. Can you picture yourself in this state, being constantly in an ecstatic, psychedelic, joyful, peaceful, extreme bliss, constantly, without any withdrawal or without any moments of hesitation or frustration or doubt? There is no movement in this state. It is just it. It is constant and persistent. It's the same. It doesn't change. It is this thing. So the appearance of the character, which is seemingly speaking to you right now as a woman called Simcha from Israel, is this state. And this is her hobby, to declare it proudly and joyfully for the world to see that this state is within the reach of the characters in the story of this illusion of the world. So she declares it. She is this state. She is constant ecstatic bliss. And it's very hard to tackle all the ignorance around this statement, because the characters that are still trapped in their separate forms cannot perceive a situation where there is no separate form, there is no one who is declaring, there is no one who is saying the words are not being said. And so they make the conclusions about what this thing is, how it should look like when someone is constant ecstatic bliss, when he's liberated, and they project these beliefs on the character that speaks, and then, of course, it's problematic for them to realize that. So I will try to explain what it means to be this state, and why the appearance is different, and why the character still looks like a character and acts like a character, which is the basic, fundamental source of all ignorance. So this state is the nature of what is. I call it all nothingness. You can call it God or whatever you like, but this is it. So you become this thing and you are free. When you are liberated, when the character believes it is a character, so it identifies with the character. Once this thing is removed, all that is left is the pure being of this thing. Can you imagine a state in which oneness or God tells himself, oh, something is wrong with what I have done. I shouldn't have done this, or I should do this, or it's not good enough. This state is not of humans, of people, of character. This is not a state of someone. This is why Simcha declares she is no one. She is not a character. She is not the character that is speaking right now. No. This is the illusion of the body and the voice that is speaking. But this is not what she is. This is not what you are also. This thing is so wonderfully ecstatic because it is pure aliveness, because it is pure creation, because it is pure synchronicity, because it is pure. It is pure because it is so unattached to anything, because there is no one in the middle to reflect all the sides of it. If a separate form believes it is someone, is a character, is someone. So all the things are reflected through this prisma, this point of view. Let's imagine that this point of view does not exist. No one needs to reflect anything. There is no collision between something and something. So everything just flows within itself. And it's very hard to imagine, because not acknowledging or not realizing what we are, or this state, and identifying with a separate form, inevitably causes the character to collide with the illusion, and then to produce just belief systems and the way it acts, and this is the story. Imagine what would be without this point. Just everything around you without any identification. Nothing is identified as something. Everything is the same, and everything is you. So this wonderful movement of no one celebrates itself in the moment, and this is the state. Imagine the happiest time of your life, the time where you felt there is no weight upon you. You don't think about anything, because this moment is so perfect, just a joyous moment, and you just celebrated the moment. You just were inside the moment, and you were happy beyond description, beyond words, because you just vanished in this wonderful ecstatic moment in your life. Then you disappeared. It sometimes happens in very extreme events in a person's life, very happy events. So you can try to think about some place that you identified yourself, you lost yourself inside this joy. It was too joyful. And then multiplied by billiards and milliards and infinite happiness, this lightness, this happiness, this joy. This is the state. It is so. It is a celebration, a constant celebration of what is, a constant wonderment of what is. Every single movement or moment inside this thing is, it's like the most amazing moment you had in your life, when your breath just was taken away from you because it was so overwhelming. This world is so amazing, it's so beautiful. So you just took a deep breath. So imagine that every thing or person that is surrounding this thing, or not surrounding, just in the point of view of the character, of the liberated character, is this thing. And the wonderful thing is that the character doesn't celebrate it, because there is no one to celebrate this celebration. It is a party without a host. No one is hosting the party. It's just a party. Look around. There's no one there. It's just everyone having a blast. So being this state is so effortless and light. It is to be redeemed from all the suffering and all the misery that the character inflicted upon herself in her lifetime. So it's so joyful. And when this thing happened to the character Simcha 5 years ago, she will celebrate an unbirthday on the 15th of December, this Friday, when she vanished and became this state. This state is so compassion. It's pure compassion, and she is a witness to the suffering around her of everything. And because she knows, this thing knows, we are the one that create this suffering for ourselves. It is just in the story. So this is a very light compassion, like a mother that's seeing her child afraid of the monster under the bed, and there is no monster under the bed, and she knows that, and she's very relaxed. And so she knows he is frightened. She knows she has to calm him down and help him in any way she can, but she knows there is no threat, and he was never in danger to be eaten by this monster. This thing is smiling all the time. This thing can never be offended by anything, or to be angry, or to have any kind of human emotion, because it isn't targeting someone who is feeling something towards someone. If someone is acting in a way Simcha doesn't appreciate or sees he's wrong, she will tell him, and she will fight against what she believes is bad behavior, but she will not be offended. There is no one to be offended. This thing wants everything to rise, everything to get to this level of freedom, of acknowledging its nature. It doesn't want it, but it's like, it is the most natural thing. The character is the disturbance. So it acts in such a way that is logical for the other characters to see. Because if Simcha, the character, would realize what you had realized, like disappeared 5 years ago, and then became the thing itself without the character, what would it be? What would it look like without the character? How can it be? Because the moment the decision was made by this thing automatically to stay as a character, after knowing that you don't stay anywhere, you don't do anything, and nothing happens, and the others don't exist, and you don't exist, and everything, you know that you are nothing. The state is nothing, I'm not here, you are not here. Everything, and in the illusion it continues. So in the illusion, this constant thing, which is ecstatic bliss, joyful ecstatic bliss, has to hide, has to disguise itself in a normal, logical way that people can perceive it, and to use it in such a way that benefits the world. And how come the character, Simcha, benefit the world? Oh, this is a very important point, and one that I see in the comments all the time by people who are just plain ignorant about what this thing is. Because there are claims, and it's very funny, I'm sorry if I'm laughing, that this channel is no longer spiritual because Simcha is talking about politics in her country. And it's funny for many, many reasons. The first is, this channel is not spiritual. It's not. Simcha does not love even the word spiritual. And as a character, she just tries to distance herself from New Age and all these talks about spirituality because of the flakiness of the whole thing. She doesn't like it. This is not spirituality, true spirituality. So she never wanted to make a spiritual channel in which she will show the way to the poor people who are not spiritual enough in a very specific way. No, she expresses herself as a character without saying a word to people who do not exist, through a camera that does not exist. YouTube does not exist, nothing exists. So it's funny when people say, oh, this channel has to be in a certain way to match what we think about spirituality. So no, it doesn't have to match anything, and she doesn't have to say anything that people will like or accept, or it goes with what they know about enlightenment and self-realization, about ancient traditions and everything. No, she's not obligated to anyone. No one pays her. Thank God. She doesn't take anything from anyone ever about this truth. She gives this truth, she expresses this truth freely, and she owes nothing. She is free. This is true freedom, being allowed, and there are no things she has to take into consideration. Oh, maybe they will love this topic, maybe not. I have some kind of agenda, I have to go and reach other audiences. No, because everything is one unity. It doesn't matter if she speaks to thousands of people or she speaks to no one. None of them exist. So what does it matter? If you help one person, it's like you help the entire world. This is the main thing. So here it's the same. She doesn't have to do anything. She just expresses. So these expectations, it's just funny, and just I encourage you to stop thinking. If you listen to my videos and you think I should say things in a certain way, please stop. I will say, and she will express this character as she wishes, and you are invited to open a YouTube channel and express yourself as you wish. This is what is wonderful about the expression. It is free. And the other unimaginably ignorant opinion is the way that an enlightened being should look like and act like. And this is also something I saw in the comments and laughed, because this thing laughs at everything. She tries to answer very seriously, but inside she's laughing about this enormous ignorance. So the claim is that if someone is enlightened and is constant bliss and compassion, he should be like, he should look like a very balanced person, very, very peaceful kind of person that accepts everything and just acts in a way that disturbs no one. It takes no side. He cannot take a side. How can he take a side if he's all the things? This is ignorance, because of course this thing has no side. And Simcha declared it. She is the Palestinians, okay? She is the murderers. She is the rapists. She is the one who burned the babies. She is unity. She's done that. She is not saying she didn't. And this is very, very deep. Listen, this is it. She is it. We are it. We are everything. We are both the killer and the victim. This is the basic platform or thing that she is. This is the state. It includes inside it the evil. It allows the evil to express itself within this thing, but it has a purpose. The evil expresses itself so that something good can shine, can express, can show itself. Heroism, bravery, courage, hope, all these things, they collide with evil and they show themselves. So an enlightened being, and this is my claim, Simcha is this thing. And this thing is above, or it's not here. It's not above the things, it's simply, it's not here. Just as you are not here. Nothing is ever happening. This is void, this is emptiness, this is everything that you can possibly imagine that this thing is. Holiness, sacredness, this is what we are. But there is the illusion of the story. And in the illusion of the story, there are characters in the movie. And in the character in the movie, Simcha, the character that was redeemed, was born in Israel, just like her great-great-grandfathers who were born in Israel way before Israel was established 75 years ago. She is deeply rooted in Israel. And the character is deeply Jewish and woman. In the story of this character, her people, the Jewish people, were persecuted and for their entire existence were deported, were so many times the Jewish people faced annihilation and survived. So this is her history. This is the character. This is the story. And so, if the character Simcha wanted everyone to like her, it's very easy. She would sit and say nothing. Nothing but the cliches that are in the other channels that people just spread. It's so easy to say these things. She is saying these things about the nature of oneness. But she takes the risk, or she dares, but she doesn't take a risk and she doesn't dare because she doesn't care. You don't know it exists, this thing that isn't happening, but she is expressing a character. And in the story, all she said all the time in this channel is be the purest, most evolved potential of your character, and then you will align with the highest values and morals of this thing, and then the barrier will break. This is the process. You become the best version of yourself as a moral individual and person through your actions, and then this thing that is pure action and aliveness, moral, compassionate, pure aliveness and action, it just, the barrier is just lifted and everything, you were this thing and it happens. And so her way was through acting. And now, when she's liberated, it is the most unbelievably not logical thing to do if she will stop fighting for the values of humankind, as she did before. But now it looks political. But now it's a story about a country who suffered an amazingly brutal terrorist attack on October 7th. There was a ceasefire with Hamas. It lasted like 10 years. They broke it and they brutally came into our country and our villages and burned the people alive and committed so many dehumanizing rapes as a method, just raping men, women, children, and grandmothers while torturing them, while making the children see their mother, the husband see his wife, and etc. Just in the most brutal way you can imagine rape. And now, and this is beyond the beheading and the slaughtering and everything, all these amazingly brutal acts, atrocities. And in the story, if the character Simcha would just stay neutral, okay, it's okay that the character is Israeli, and so she will accept these inhumane actions. No. And she doesn't, and any human being shouldn't. And people who don't know that now, in time, when all the evidence, they will see for themselves what has happened, they will just take a good, hard look in the mirror and ask themselves, what was I thinking about. It is very, very natural for the character in the illusion to fight, to express, and she will not try to humor anyone in this channel because she owes no one any explanation about her actions. And believe it or not, the sole purpose of this expression is evolvement. It's exposing the truth so others can just see it and choose to evolve. And so when Simcha declares these truths about the nature of the world and about the nature of the struggle in Israel, you can choose not to accept them, or you can choose to accept them. The only thing she can say, and it may sound very condescending, but she will say whatever she wants to say. She is free. It seems that she has reached this state, the character has reached enlightenment 5 years ago, because her judgment calls were right on the money. Because she knew each and every time to do the right and moral thing. She knew that. She could tell right from wrong. She did stand on the right side. And when she declares now that the right side of humanity is alongside Israel, because the struggle of Israel is the struggle of the world against extremists, against extreme violence. So she is right, just because she was right before. And before enlightenment, before this thing, she thought she is right in her decisions and the values she chose to stand by. But now, after a liberation, after knowing the self, this is pure knowledge. This is it. In the story, there are the good guys, there are the bad guys. She knows the story. So she wants to help the people who are ignorant. And I don't know why they don't see and look beyond the channels that they usually look and see through, and seek for the truth. So the way you seek for the truth about enlightenment is the way you need to seek for the truth in this subject. And you need to know. Being in this state of constant ecstatic bliss does not mean that she has to sit still and accept everything and everyone, because this is a crime. Accepting crimes is like doing them, is cooperating with them, is adding suffer and misery to the world. And this is not the nature of this thing. These words come from compassionate help. Help this world cure itself from this extreme disease of violence by dealing with those who are responsible to the violence, not by accusing the victims for protecting themselves from the violence. So in the story, she tries, like you are watching a film and you get it wrong, you get the movie wrong, you think that the hero is to blame, and she's sitting next to you in this movie theater and she says, no, you got it all wrong. Listen, look carefully at the characters. You're getting it wrong. So she tries to explain the movie to you, so you will be more evolved. But if we were talking but constant ecstatic bliss is the way she perceives even these extreme atrocities and extreme story, because this is what she is. Don't confuse the character's appearance and you just capturing it in your mind as someone. Don't confuse this character with what it is and what you are. And this is, has always been, will always be, and in this moment, which is the only moment, constant, ecstatic bliss.